So I'm working on repairing this area here. Since this is a hem where two pieces of sheet steel are coming together, there's a lot of strength right here. So because of this big rusted out area and a few little pinholes in here, you lose a lot of strength. So what I've done, I've taken a piece of, it's about 95 thousandths of an inch thick cold rolled steel. I've been cutting it to size, and that size, it's flexible enough with a cold rolled steel so I can actually form it. So I've had to do, because this isn't perfectly flat, or this isn't a perfectly perpendicular surface between here and here, you have to do a little bit of custom trimming in a few different spots so it sits better. So I'm going to get this in here, get this fit up as close to where this edge is close to this wall as possible. And then I'm going to clamp it in place, then go ahead and start tack welding it, and then I'm going to get another piece of sheet steel, probably not the same thickness, and start going perpendicular to this thing. That way this thing will actually be stronger than what it was originally and fix all my rust holes as well. So still got, you know, patches that we're going to have to fabricate and make, but fabricate and make, same two damn words. Still have other patches that I'll have to fabricate and get welded in here, but I just want to get the structural stuff done first. Okay, so I got this strip of steel clamped in place. So now I'm just going to tack weld it. Just hold it in place so I can remove the clamps, and then I'll work on fabricating the rest of the sheet metal and connecting all this together. I have an odd shape here that I need to try to duplicate, so I'm probably going to go even beyond this cutout, just because I see a few little pinholes here and there too. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be kind of like an arced pie shape, if you will. I don't know if there's a term for that, but I'm going to make a pattern out of just some scrap mail that I got, some, you know, a little bit of cardstock here. What I'm going to do, where my marker. So in order to know the exact shape of my arc here, so it kind of matches this edge, I'm just going to trace on this side an outline. That way I'll go ahead and cut that. Probably should have started off with that, but live and learn. So that is going down there nicely. Okay, trim him. Goes down there further, like so. Now, like I said, I don't need to go all the way up. I don't need to go around. For some reason, there's like a thing is protruded right here. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's clearance for, because on the inside of this thing, this is where your little heater door that's vacuum powered is at. So maybe this is knocked out for to create clearance for that. At least that is my best guess. So I'm going to go around that. So I don't need. I'm just kind of pushing on this to feel where it's protruded at. Okay, then come up like that. Tell this is some precise work I'm doing. It's just giving you a starting point for a pattern. Oh, I can cut a lot more of that off. Yeah, so I only need to go up to here. Actually, where this chick is. Off you go. Okay, so I'm going to make something. Okay, there's little holes right there. Okay, so I'm going to have this come straight across. Cutting curves in steel is not all that easy, of course, depending on what type of tools you got. Okay, well, that's fairly decent. Here's a piece of sheet steel that I'm going to use. So as long as I can get this thing to fit in there, which should not be a problem. I'll line that up and trace it out, put it on the steel, cut her out as best as I can, and we'll look at getting this fit up and weld it in place. Okay, now that we cut out our piece of sheet steel here, just going to kind of lay it in place. Now, I am still interfering a little bit with this bulged out part of this area. Not that big of a deal, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and clamp this thing in place. I'm just going to take my hammer and try to form that a bit. I'm just going to notch this real quick. Actually fits in there a whole hell lot better now. Still not perfect, but I think if I just clamp it in place, it'll be pretty good. Okay, I'm going to get a bigger Yeah, one thing I've learned, whenever doing this sheet metal work, you need a shitload of clamps. Okay, now got rid of all those gaps. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and tack weld it in a couple spots, and then take the clamps. May have to move them around if another gap appears, and do some more welding. Oh, I thought this damn thing was recording, and it wasn't. So I already tack welded a couple of spots and was able to remove a couple of these clamps. So now I'm going to take this one loose, this big deep throat C-clamp loose, and bring it further down because it looks like there's a gap down there. So I'm just going to finish welding this bad boy up, and then maybe do a little bit of grinding on the weld to make it look better. So it's not a work of art by any means. I'm not building a show car. I just need it to be functional. Okay, so I'm in the process of fabricating this up. So I'm starting off with just a rectangular piece. Well, I got a slight angle cut down on the bottom here, clamping that in place. It's just that these all these forms that are on here, all these curves, it's just too difficult to do with one part. So I'm going to break this up in probably just 2 parts. And just start off with the simplest first and then do the more complex last. I need to do a few tack welds to hold it in place so I can get the other part fabricated. Come on. Again? Fuck, I missed. So I'm taking this piece here, doing a rough cutout, did a little notch to avoid this weld. But just trying to fit it up on here, but because of all the compound curves, you gotta try to form it, and then know how good this edge is and how well it'll meet up with the other one. So we gotta give it some motivation here. Better. Now, get a better idea of how fairly close. See, what I'm going to have to do is actually go through and start doing some welds and kind of form as I go and then weld as I go. And do the same for the bottom portion. Okay. Yep, I need to go ahead and take off that little burr there. Okay, so I removed that burr. So now I just have this held in place with a really powerful magnet right here. Let's see this very well, can you? So this magnet right here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put a couple welds along this edge, and then I'm going to start hammering on this and forming it up against that steel, and then I'll put a weld there, and then I'll just keep on forming, then add a weld, and so on and so forth. And then I'll have to do the same towards the bottom, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to work this way and work my way down. And then if I need to do some custom cuts down here, I still can do that. Hopefully this couple tacks will hold. Magnet out of the way. Nope, the welds there broke off, so they weren't worth shit. Okay, so now I can get that. I eliminated this gap up top. So I'll get that magnet back over here. Damn, that's a strong magnet. That's strong. It's not as strong as I need it to be, but I'm going to have to push on this while I weld that. So I'll try to get some weld over here. Okay. This too far in here. Damn it. That's not good. Sounds funny. It's not welding right. They've got any tips, I would love to hear them. I don't understand this. This definitely sounds very odd. Just got some new shielding gas. I wonder if they gave me the wrong stuff. I don't know why it looks different, sounds different.